This is Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Dr. Short, is an honor to have you back on We All Be once again. You are the true people's champ and public intellectual number one, as far as I'm concerned. And I want to talk to you about the Roseanne Barr controversy. What's your thoughts about it and other things related to it?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start off by saying thank you again, Brother Hurt, for reaching out to me. And, you know, Roseanne Barr is an overweight white woman. I mean, I think she might be Jewish too. You know, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But she's a overweight white female comedian. Okay, she's made a lot of money having, you know, poor taste and a lack of discretion. And so that's a comedian. I love Richard Pryor. Okay. I don't watch her show. I mean, I'm not turned on by fat people. Even I don't even like my own little belly. I mean, so I'm racist against obesity, even my own. I don't even like when I see my stomach, you know. Mm-hmm. So if two fat people wouldn't be interesting. I mean, except what they were doing liposuction, I would see them lose their fat. Mm-hmm. Then I'd be interested in Roseanne's show. Although they did lose some weight. Not enough. No. So she's a comedian, and comedians say stuff people don't like. And she had the right to say whatever she wanted to say, even if it was offensive. In fact, I kind of like this America with Trump and where people say what they really mean. Mm-hmm. Because it used to be, if someone like myself could see that someone was racist, to brain dead black people these days, where you literally need to have a white person set them on fire before they'll recognize people are racist. I kind of like now people are saying how they think and feel about things, and it gives some authenticity, and it vindicates and validates people who are involved and speaking up. So she had freedom of speech. She exercised it. Freedom of speech does not mean that you will be free from people's reaction to how you exercise your freedom of speech. So you can say, you know, something really crazy like you hate this group or that group or kill this group. And you have a freedom to say that, at least in America and some other countries where they have more stringent codes for speech. You'd find yourself put in jail for inciting hatred or violence. But we don't have those kinds of laws yet. So, one, she had the freedom to say it. And then we have to remember, she is an overweight clown. Comedians and other people test. You know, they test boundaries. Artists and performers test boundaries. I mean, R. Kelly's testing boundaries. Mm-hmm. Lil Wayne definitely tests boundaries. Tupac tests boundaries. Richard Pryor tests boundaries. Eddie Murphy tests boundaries, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of when you're a performer, you're trying to get attention. We need to also remember that this fat white woman, her show was sinking. I mean, they had a big debut and everybody was watching, and then they stopped. Now, part of what hurt Roseanne's show, if you ask me, is that she had the son on there playing he's gay. And I think that's boring. People have been fagged out, gayed out, homosexual out, same-sex out. It just, just everything, you know. you know, you go in the store to buy some rice pudding, and they have to say, well, they'll put a rainbow on it. In fact, this rice pudding looks like ejaculate. I mean, everything has to be gay themed. Some people are like, they get annoyed. So she lost a lot of her audience. People don't want to see all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so she wants to make a comeback by messing over, cracking on somebody black. I mean, that's a normal white thing, but you can just crack on black people. That's the thing that you're hearing, which is a misnomer. What she really did was she took a ride on Jews. That's what Roseanne's real crime was, okay?
Mm.
And if she was making fun of, I'm interviewing, if she was making fun of just black folks, it would have been a lot less of a repercussion. But she did blacks and rich, powerful Jews.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you recall, back when Donald Trump first got in, remember February 2017, every time Donald Trump did something that was in relationship to black people, there would be a Jewish crisis on the exact same day.
Mm.
That would almost preempt. Like when he went to the African American History Museum, there was a Jewish emergency. So he's talking about Jews on black people's time. When he had the little African History Month, Black African American History Month summit in the White House, it was a Jewish problem. This happened 3-4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Every time there was something black, because the Jewish folks did not want blacks on the agenda. They want it all. Okay? So when it's to their advantage, they'll have what? Remember they were claiming that there was someone black that was targeting and threatening Jewish people, and it turned out it was a Jewish boy over in Israel who was issuing all these threats against Jews that they had put on a black man in St. Louis. Okay? People forget this. They don't pay attention. You go back and you check. When Trump went to the African American History Museum, he was talking about Jews and anti-Semitism, not about black people and black history. He didn't get to do that because each time they created a diversion to force the issue to be them and not deal with black folks. By the way, the president is elected to help everybody. So I don't want anybody legitimately naturalized in the United States. Hint, hint, if you're illegal, you have to wait. In fact, get on top of the bus, not the back. In fact, don't get on the bus at all. All right? Everybody's supposed to be able to lobby and get what they can from the government, the state, both federal and local. So I'm not mad if Jewish folks get something for Jews, but I do have an issue if they try to block other people from getting some attention and redress. We pay taxes too. We die in the army too. We live here too. We outnumber you. Okay, we're suffering here. We're not suffering 70 years ago in Europe. So let us get ours. Thank you very much. Okay, and take that however you want to. But in reality, don't we need some help? I think so. All right. And for a group that's doing well and affluent, it's got a third of the billionaires, and you would think that they're worse off than the Native Americans and African Americans when it comes down to getting attention. Fact. That's how people behave. Now, mind you, she attacked Chelsea Clinton, and she got it wrong that Chelsea Clinton, on Twitter, Chelsea Clinton was married to a nephew of George Soros, but instead she's married to a son of a senator who was busted for fraud. Okay. And she made light and humiliated because there was some back and forth between Chelsea Clinton and Roseanne on Twitter. And basically, Roseanne dogged George Soros. His name was actually George Schwartz, and he changed his name to Soros. He was a man who helped the Nazis exterminate fellow Jews, I think Romanian Jews, in Hungary and Romania, forgive me if I get, it was one of the two countries, the Eastern European Jews. He was helping to kill them, take their money, and give it to the Germans. And if you ever hear George Soros says he had no regrets, in fact, enjoyed doing it. So here's a Jewish man who helped murder Jews, and Roseanne brought this up. What you'll find is the issue of the Holocaust and Jewish complicity in the Holocaust is a very, very unpleasant issue for American Jewry in particular, because the narrative is that they were nice people, just wonderful, loving people, never did anything to anybody, and suddenly all people outside of the Jewish community just began killing them. They had no notice, no warning, and it just sort of happened. They all ended up in concentration camps and were killed in the millions. And that's not exactly how it happened. How many millions were killed? You know, that's a debated number, but certainly millions were killed of all types of people. But there's a complicity amongst many, many people that were Jewish that helped kill other Jews. And see, then that takes this thing of everybody being anti-Semitic, that yoke off of many people who had nothing to do, or actually were no more complicit in the mass death of Russians, Gypsies, Jews, and everybody else than many Jews who were involved in this persecution of people. And so when Roseanne started bringing this up, this set off an alarm. You have to understand that the Holocaust, and I call it the Holocaust card, is an industry wherein people are consistently made to feel guilty, complicit, responsible, and they owe reparations and consistent need to beg forgiveness of organized Jewry for crime committed in the past. You're understanding me? When you start showing that things like the Havara Agreement, where the World Zionist Organization and others cut deals with the Third Reich in Nazi Germany for Jewish people to be able to resettle in Palestine with the assistance of the Third Reich, I mean that. Yes, they signed an agreement between Hitler and the Jewish leadership, sat across the table and cut a deal. And what Hitler did, keeping up his end of the deal, and it's a lie that Adolf Hitler was just a complete maniac and monster. Adolf Hitler fulfilled as much as he could the terms of the arrangement that he made with the World Zionist Organization to help German Jews liquidate their assets in Germany, transfer that into equipment and material to make new lives for Jewish people on the land that they were taking from the Palestinians. Fact, Hitler did that. And we're not talking about 1 or 2. We're talking about maybe 60, 80, 100,000 German Jews, somewhere between 60 and 100,000 Jews, were helped by Hitler to move to Palestine with money and equipment for them to set up and be more advanced than the poor Palestinians who they were living among. Okay, this is what really gave life to the project for creating the State of Israel. So whether people like it or not, Adolf Hitler is one of the godfathers of the creation of the State of Israel. I'm shocked. I'm descended from my great-great-uncle was tortured and experimented on by the Nazis. I was co-raised by a Jewish woman whose family barely escaped the Nazis in Russia. I absolutely have no love for Nazism, but research and study forces you to see this kind of reality. It's called the Transfer Agreement, or the Havara, Havara Agreement. It was done, I think it was finalized in 1937 following Kristallnacht. Hitler agreed with the World Zionist Organization to lay off of persecuting Jews, or at least to persecute Jews differently. They didn't want the Jews to stay in Germany. They would do everything they could to help the Jewish people move somewhere else. Those Jews who took the option to move to the Middle East were not gassed. They were not tattooed. They were not put in concentration camps. The story that we're told is just everyone Jewish was rounded up, put in a concentration camp. Those are the movies that Hollywood shows us over and over and over again. Of course, there are those who are lucky enough to get out. That story they'll tell too, but they won't tell the story of the person that says, hey, look, I'm going to Palestine. They go in, they report themselves, they start working with these people. Everybody's house and property wasn't stolen. That's a lie. That is absolute. And so when someone like Roseanne brings certain controversies, this is very frightening to the people who are very concerned about keeping the memory of the Holocaust as organized Jewry, organized Zionistic Jewry would like for us to understand what happened in Europe. Then you have to go after that person. By the way, I would never be allowed on television for citing history, not picking. I didn't call nobody any names. I absolutely don't like Hitler. I don't like Nazism, but to absolutely say that Jewish people had enough power to force Hitler to sign an agreement with them. And Hitler maintained this Havar agreement all the way into late in his dictatorship, about the late 1940s, when they were not able to send Jews from Germany or Italy to Palestine because of their ships being torpedoed and being attacked from the air. You hadn't heard that Hitler, and they were giving them the money, transferring it. Good stuff. Mm. And on one hand, the Jews were moving into Palestine with the German help, and they were getting help from the English to set up an Israeli army, Haganah, and the other Jewish groups, even the Stern Gang, terroristic group, which, by the way, was trying to negotiate with Hitler. Actually, some Jews were looking at supporting Hitler's rule, provided Jewish people got a state. You hadn't heard that before. Mm. There's elements of the Stern Gang. Menachem Begin, the Prime Minister of Israel, was in the Stern Gang. One of the leaders of the Stern Gang went as far as going to Berlin to try to get Hitler's support for a Jewish state. And he was assassinated, not by the Nazis, but by certain Jews who didn't want to talk to Hitler at that point. Okay, there's this huge history of what has happened around this Holocaust. And so I would say that Roseanne Barr has been Holocausted. Mm. That's the real crime, is that she criticized wealthy, powerful Jewish people. By the way, Chelsea Clinton married them. I think the guy's name is Mitzvah. I can look his name up, but he's a crooked. Mitzvah is the first name. The last name, let me pull it up. The last name of this gentleman, I'll have for you in 1 second.
Okay.
Some of these names, they're not names you see every day, and you could really mess up the name. I don't want to do that to your audience. When you talk to our folks, you want them to be able to have real information, real empowering information. I'll have it. His name is Mark Mazinski. Okay. And he's the co-founder of a hedge fund that's gone broke. Okay. And his father is the crook. Okay. Mm. They're from Philadelphia, same area that who got busted in recently? Bill Cosby. Mm. I need to emphasize that Bill Cosby lived in Montgomery County, which is right outside of Philadelphia. Many people do not know. They always hear about Charleston, South Carolina, but the heartbeat, or should I say the brain of the the trade of enslaved Africans to the America was Philadelphia. Did you know that?
No.
You did know.
No, I didn't know that. I did not know that. I was thinking about Charleston Harbor or something.
Okay, see, they want to do that because a lot of people don't associate the South with Jews.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot of manipulation in how you hear something. Let me just run this down to you. The financier of the American Revolution was the largest Jewish slave trader in North America named Haym Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
There wouldn't be an America without a Jewish slave trader paying for everything. If you ever wonder why they were in Valley Forge, okay.
Wow.
And so what happens when black folks move to a city? People move to the suburbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that Jewish community that made a lot of its money from Solomon and other people that were in the city of Philadelphia moved to the suburbs. Elkins Park, where Cosby lives, and those surrounding places in Montgomery County are heavily Zionistic and Jewish. Fact. Mazinski, born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, grew up attending a conservative synagogue. His parents are former Democratic members of the U.S. House of Representatives. His father is Edward Mazinski, who embezzled millions of dollars from people via a Ponzi scheme and an advance fee scam, was found guilty in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
And look at this. His mother, Marjorie Margolis, whose name I know, she's a very famous reporter here in the Washington area. She was the congresswoman for Philadelphia's 13th district. They declared bankruptcy before Mazinski's conviction and divorced. Stop for 1 minute.
Okay.
Marjorie Margolis, that name Margolis, I'm going to look it up real fast. She comes from an important family. Hold on, I just want to share with you what happened to Roseanne.
Mm-hmm.
Born in Philadelphia. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You get where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
Graduated from the University of Pennsylvania, 1963. It doesn't tell you who her parents were. I now need to look up the name Margolis. I suspect that it's one of those names that might be either a Jewish or an Italian name.
Mm-hmm.
But what am I going to say to you about it? I suspect that she comes from an important family as well, or at least one of these striving type families.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. Now, so you have a person with a background in media. ABC, by the way, I believe is who she was with.
Okay.
Isn't that the same company that fired Roseanne Barr?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Know that the new black woman that's supposedly head of ABC is married to a white man.
Okay.
Why do I think the white man is Jewish? I have my suspicions. In fact, let's look real fast and see if the name seems like it's an unusual name.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll see what Roseanne stepped into has nothing to do with whether they care if they call black people monkeys or not. Wait a minute. Let's just sit down and think about this. The number one rabbi in Israel that just blessed effeminate Kushner, who's the son-in-law of Trump, and Ivanka, has gone on record as calling black people niggers and monkeys. You haven't heard the American media criticize this man.
Mm-mm.
They didn't criticize the number one rabbi in Israel when he calls black people monkeys.
Mm.
So why are they mad if Roseanne called one black person, a monkey? Just one. He said us all, and not a problem. She picked out one person, and let's do this real fast. If you look up Valerie Jarrett has Jewish ancestry. She's a Creole on one part of her family from New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
They still celebrate Jewish holidays and the Jarrett family.
Mm-hmm.
Seder. She would celebrate that. Valerie would celebrate Seder, the Jewish holiday, because she's a Jew.
Wow.
You get where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
She called someone. I don't think Roseanne got too deep. This is one of these sort of mulatto Jews that's connected. Sometimes you have people like Obama who has some Jewish ancestry that most Negroes won't acknowledge because they're silly. That's why I like to hang around my own people. I don't like dumb people. Let me pull up this woman's name real fast. Valerie Jarrett. Pull up her bio, and I'll share some of this with you. I don't remember this all off the top of my head.
I mean, it's amazing, like, what you're providing, though. I mean, like you said, you don't hear this on the nightly news. On
the nightly news. Who's running the nightly news?
Like the Jewish people, the Zionists.
Don't hate me. I didn't make anyone run the nightly news.
Right.
Valerie Jarrett, she looked like the average sister to you? No. Okay. She even looks like one of the person that will haggle with you to get a lower price. Okay. The name is Bowman.
Mm-hmm.
And I think James Barbara T. Bowman, that's the one I need to look for. Let's see, where is she from? Hold on one second. Chicago, Illinois. Okay, nah, that's not who I want. Okay, here we go. Okay, her grandfather was second in command to Booker T. Washington at Tuskegee.
Emmett Scott?
No. Let me run it down to you. The grandfather of Valerie Jarrett is named Robertson Taylor. Okay. He's the first accredited African American architect. That's why you have that thing called Robert Taylor Homes. First black student to enroll in MIT in Massachusetts. He designed the buildings on Tuskegee's campus prior to 32 and served as second in command to Booker T. Washington. He was in Wilmington, which was the Black Wall Street. No, it wasn't. Actually, Durham was. But that was one of those neighborhoods that blacks were doing very, very, very well until the riot forced them out in the late 90s, right? Fact. Let me see. He moved to Cleveland, designed stuff. Let me see. When does he move to Chicago? Okay. I'm going to get rid of that. Somebody in this family is Jewish, because if you look up Valerie Jarrett, she'll tell you that they celebrated Seder because she had Jewish roots. Now, I'm looking at the name of his wife, and her name is Beatrice Roseanne Taylor. I think Roseanne is the Creole name. That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
That is, I believe, the Jewish link. I could be wrong. It's one of them. I don't care if I'm close. I'm doing better than what the news would do, folks. Barbara Bowman is the mother. Let's see where it says where she's from. South Side. Yes. Bowman was born and raised South Side of Illinois, the daughter of Laura Dorothy Vaughn, Mae Jennings, and Robert Roseanne Taylor. Yeah, that's the name, Roseanne. That's the Creole name. These were light-skinned, special blacks, got their freedom before the Civil War. Valerie Jarrett ain't one of us.
I mean, was she born in Iran or something like that, or Iraq, somewhere over in the Middle East?
In Shiraz, Iran, but her father was working for the State Department, and there's a strong possibility that that's a cover and that there was some CIA stuff.
Right.
It's right around the time that they're looking at taking down the government of Iran. She was born 1956. What happened just before she was born? Let me pull it up. I'm going to pull up Mossadegh's name.
Was that the BP and them overthrew the government?
Yeah, I'm going to pull up Mossadegh. I think him 55 or 56.
Okay.
hold on, I'm going to give it a prime minister. His government was overthrown in 1953. Forgive me.
The Operation Ajax?
Yes, Operation Ajax. But what I'm saying to you is that her father came in with the CIA people that brought those folks in.
Okay.
Are you following me?
Mm-hmm.
She's not one of us.
So she's a CIA asset. It would be safe to say that.
Would have had to have been, and by the way, it would have had to have had some connection, because that's who sent them over there. That's who they had running things. When you go to the State Department, you could be working with the CIA and not even want to, not even know.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. There is CIA connection.
Wow.
What's really crazy is that Bowman went to Dunbar High School, which is the elite high school, the high school my mother went to.
Mm-hmm.
You could be light-skinned to go there at one point. Fact. And dude went to Howard University now, and he was at FREeman's Hospital. Okay. Then he went to Chicago. So he must have met her there. Look at this. He was out in charge of medical nutrition at the Medical Nutrition Library at Fitzsimmons Army Hospital in Aurora, California. The same place where the guy shot up all the people in the movie theater.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
After leaving the military, Bowman decided to go overseas. He became chair of pathology at Namazi Hospital in Shiraz, Iran. So Valerie was born there. And part of what they were doing was you sent over doctors and other people to help the Shah's regime succeed. Now, what I also want you to know is that her father did a lot of research on sickle cell anemia. Some people feel sickle cell, they use some of the research from sickle cell to make bioweapons to hurt black folks.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, he was a professor of pathology and genetics at the Pritzker School of Medicine. The Pritzkers are the Jews that put the money behind Obama becoming president. Okay? And by the way, Valerie Jarrett right now lives with the Obamas here in Washington, D.C. Girl has money. Why do you want to live with two married people? I won't get into that. Why? I mean, I'm just going to put that question out. I'm not going to get involved. Okay? Right. I won't get involved so no one can get mad at me for what I'm wondering about. Is she gay? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Stone lesbian.
Yeah, I saw a picture of her online at a LGBTQ thing in LA. So you're saying she's gay? Okay.
Yeah, she's gay, and she was Obama's main advisor.
Mm-hmm.
Can't tell. And she's Michelle's mentor. But it's that interesting. You got like this radical lesbian woman living with I guess, maybe a straight couple. I love all the weak folks that want to defend this lie, this sham that's been run on us. Oh, it makes me want to vomit. I'm not saying that they don't love each other, but that's strange. Now, I want to bring something to you. I may have brought it up to you before, but I'm going to bring it up to you again. I want you to challenge all of your listeners to go to Google and put in to Google the search bar, man's country, MAN''S, country, COUTRY, search term, the Boolean thing, and, all in capital letters. Put a space between country and in caps. And then put in sign or door sign or photos. And what you'll find is the Man's Country, which is a notorious gay bathhouse for which Rahm Emanuel and Barack Obama had membership, had a neon sign on the front window of the place. And that neon sign looks so very much like the Obama election symbol.
Wow.
Do you want me to email? Do you have access to email for me to send you a picture?
Yeah, that's sir.
I sent you right now because I know people think I'm lying. Oh, he hates them. Maybe I do hate someone, but I may hate them based on the facts, not just blind emotion. I don't operate like that. I kind of like having a reason to dislike you. It gives you your freedom.
Right.
Okay. Let me see. What's a good email for you?
weallbe@gmail.com.
Okay. Let me see if I got. Okay, I got you. Let me find this picture, and I'm gonna continue to talk. We're gonna get back to Roseanne, but I just had to.
Yeah, definitely.
But is this interesting? I hope I'm giving you some.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, it's like a lot of homework for people to look up, but it needs to be said and looked into.
Work. Why do the thinking people have to do all the work?
I agree with you.
Like people thinking.
But we're more concerned about like NBA finals and love and hip hop. We don't want to be distracted by real things.
Yeah, and okay, I just put one in, and I'm gonna put the other one in. I save this on my desktop, especially when I meet silly black Obama supporters. I love stuff to them to sit up and have someone just argue against the fact of, I don't know if you ever saw the Stepford Wives movie where they had all the women brainwashed. They just did whatever they told them to do, and at a certain point, the Stepford Wives broke down because they just couldn't, they just weren't functioning.
Right.
Blacks have acted like the Stepford Wives around seeing Obama and Valerie Jarrett and those other enemies of our community for what they are, enemies. Now, let me see. Tell me when you check your email. I just sent it to you because I want you to pull it up. In fact, please share this with people. And don't blame me. I didn't make it. Do you see it?
I'm still waiting for it. It'll pop up eventually, hopefully.
Hold on, one more thing. Let me see if I can send it through my phone. Because, hold on, I'm going to send this to you as a text. Hope that you get this. Because, really, people act like when you have your eyes open that you're a bad person. Do you realize you can't drive a car with your eyes closed? If you make love with your eyes closed, the person may think you don't like them.
Yeah.
You need to have your eyes open. Now check again, see if you have it now.
Okay.
And now I'm going to go into something else. I was talking to a friend of Donald Trump's yesterday. Very close friend of his. And he told me that this Roseanne thing had been cooked up in part by people that are close to Obama because they're worried about this Inspector General report that shows that Obama violated the Constitution a level 100 times worse than Richard Nixon. And now they're doing everything to try to get the Democrats to win, to try to create some kind of racial confusion in the country to prevent people from focusing in on what's being found.
Wow.
And, the other day I was talking about Sessions. I think I talked about Sessions on your show, how I can't stand him and all this kind of stuff. And I'm saying that I can't stand Sessions. Sessions, I do not like you. Okay, you're a racist. You look like a Kiba elf with Down syndrome. And in fact, I wouldn't eat any cookie you bake because it probably wouldn't be. Well, it would be real sweet if you made it because I think you're sweet. So
I got the thing. Okay, I see the resemblance. Wow.
You see the resemblance. All you have to do is turn the blue part on the top and make the red line concave, and you've got the campaign symbol.
Oh, yeah.
It's identical to the neon sign for one of the oldest. It just got knocked down in December last year of the homosexual bathhouse that Rahm Emanuel and Barack Obama had memberships to. That's a fact.
Wow. Oh, man.
I'm wondering why other people can't see that. Repeat. Am I lying, brother? I lie?
It looks very similar. Like you said, you just changed a little bit here and there.
King, I had never paid attention to that until like maybe a year or so ago. I know someone that did some research on Obama and so forth, proof that Obama was having sex with all these men. Okay, fact. A old white man, too. That's why he couldn't look Mitt Romney in the eye. He probably said, I had you last night. Don't you dare try to go out. I've been with you. I mean, you know, have you ever seen a situation where a dude is morally compromised?
Yeah.
Or a man, it's a preacher, and he screwed one of the women in the audience. You can just look at him, and all of a sudden he can't stand up. Right. He can what he does when he's laying down. Mm-hmm. Okay, remember Obama kept bowing. He just, I mean, like, God, like, just stand up, brother. And it's like maybe because he had him. Oh, Frankenstein looking Romney. He was like Frankenstein with no screws in his neck.
Wow.
I'm sorry, he looks like Frankenstein. Like Frankenstein needs a haircut too. No. So you've got all of this going on, and if this Inspector General report comes out and it just shows how they've covered up for sex trafficking, for violating the Constitution, for trying to get men or women to sleep with Trump or get pictures of kitties, whatever. This stuff is so nasty. No one's going to respect. In fact, people going to be having bonfires burning their Obama memorabilia trying to distance themselves. I can't wait until, you know, I'm going to save my stuff as much as I dog, and they'll be collectibles when y'all burn y'all stuff up. You're probably going to punch me in my face. Man, don't you dare sell no Obama memorabilia. No, I'm going to destroy this stuff. I can see you just jumping on me. The way you talking about Obama, you better not sell one thing in here, right? Anyway, back to Roseanne. So we did this thing. Now, let's talk about Valerie Jarrett. Valerie Jarrett was Obama's and Michelle's main advisor for their entire political career. There is absolutely nothing that Obama did for black people when he was in the Senate in Chicago. And there was absolutely nothing that he did when he was a state senator for Chicago. And there was nothing he did for black people as president, other than schmooze and posture, gobsmack ignorant Negroes who think that he was for them, you know. Okay, so you had Aretha Franklin sing at the inauguration. So but you had Beyonce at the inauguration. They're already rich. What about the rest of us? And while I'm saying this, you look at all the people dying in Chicago right now. Did you know that's linked to Obama? Did you? There was a white gentleman named Fitzgerald who was busting all the gangs, Jewish and Irish gangs and Mexican gangs and so forth. And Obama got rid of him. And once Obama got rid of Fitzgerald, the murders have been going to the ceiling in Chicago. Thousands of people have died since Obama got rid of Fitzgerald. The one person that was handling it, he was running Chicago. He was running the thugs, the crooks, and the skanks. Mm-hmm. And Obama got rid of him. Wow. Well, we love him. I mean, you know, Obama could come and take a dump on Martin Luther King's crypt in Atlanta, and people say, well, that's the only way he knew how to express his respect for Obama.
You know what it is? So you got a lot of Obama apologists out there. You trying to say
they're not apologists? They're Obama worshipers. They need to start a church and let Beyonce be Mary, a Virgin Mary. Let Obama be Jesus. Get out of church. I stopped going to my church for a year and a half because I went in Black History Month 2016 and they had Obama up there. I was ready to walk out. The only reason I say is my mother was with me. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see that. That's not Black history. That's coon history, okay? It's two different things, In fact, they are diametrically opposed to each other. Now, Valerie Jarrett told Obama if he wanted to do 2 terms, do nothing for black people. Don't speak to black issues. Don't address anything. Nothing. And he did that. And she was so Haiti, take your time going down there. The police slayings, dragged his feet. That's Valerie. She's the architect of everything that didn't happen. Flint, every disaster that hit black people where you would have thought Obama had a chance to shine. That's Valerie. That's a bitch. That's a bitch. I said again, what a bitch. What a traitor bitch she is. And I use the word bitch describing her. A lot of people homeless, hungry, didn't get a Pell Grant, didn't get the funding, didn't get to go to college, lost their home, lost their job, kids got beat, shot, killed, brutalized. And you had a black man in the most powerful office in the country, couldn't even get a old Whitman sample or some Russell Stover dollar store candies from the president. And it's that bitch's fault. And to all the sisters out there, just because you have a vagina, don't make you no freedom fighter. God gave you the vagina. And in fact, you didn't have anything to do with it being there. I hope you clean it, under the hood in particular. Having a vagina doesn't make you Harriet Tubman or a sister like Rosa Parks or Fannie Lou Hamer or Coretta Scott King or Betty Shabazz. Having a vagina and being a great woman don't necessarily go together. There's always a potential for you to be a great mother or a great person or a great grandmother or aunt or sister or a person that has a lot of well-raised children. And then you also have the potential to be a skank, to be an affirmative action tramp or an affirmative action bitch where you get counted 2 against a black man and you keep wondering why the black men don't get jobs because the system would rather give 2 of you a job than 1 to him. Okay. There are a lot of coon sisters who've drank the Kool-Aid, which has some white man's piss and something else in it. And y'all say it tastes good because y'all can't see that black men and black women need each other. And no woman is greater than her man, and no man is greater than his woman. And a lot of sisters, I'm telling you, it's pathetic and disgusting when you have a situation like when that dude with the wife who has a big avocado size, what's the thing, Adam's apple, Thug Jones, the one who became a senator. He started playing with Adam's apple. Man, we played Major League Baseball with that Adam's apple she's got. And she's running against the pedophile, was it Roy Moore? I call him because he like toying with children. Black men voted in the hundreds of thousands, and so did black women. Who did the media praise? Black women only. And forgive me, a lot of stupid-ass black women sit back and don't say, hey, wait a minute. Black men voted too. Black men were driving folks to the polls. Don't black men count? You know what? White women talk feminism, but they know how to get behind white men when there's a white agenda. Black women talk about how they're the backbone of the community, but they act like feminists. Way too many. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace that there's not one black woman in the news and no say, excuse me. Black men in particular, even those with felony convictions, were working to get expunged and all of that so they could vote. And they voted. 96% voted for Doug Jones. Had 90% of black men voted for Doug Jones, it wouldn't have mattered if 100% of black women had voted for Doug Jones. He would have lost. So the black men's votes counted. We need to stop discounting each other. I do not discount the importance of black women. The same way you see how I introduced you to Sister Bradford. When I met her, and she'll tell you we respect each other. I met this woman. I stayed in touch with her the last 20 years. First time I met her, I said, God, can we please be friends? I'm
Yeah,
like,
she's like one of them. Yeah.
I respect you, sister. I didn't even know some of the stuff she's just telling me now. I
Right.
just knew she was great.
Mm.
But you could be old or young, short or tall, skinny or fat. If you got the goods to help your people, I respect that. Okay? And I can't stand these coon Negroes running around here always saying queen, queen, queen. What they really want to do is screw everybody. And it's just, this pimp talk. Just slice up the heads of the sisters so you can get some sex, but you don't want to be married. To me, marry a queen. Stay with the queen. Raise a family with the queen. Grow old and die with the queen. Don't call them a queen just to get on top of them or try to make a little homemade porn film and laugh at her. That's not a queen. Yeah. And by the way, sisters that go for that, they're chumps. Okay? Having a vagina doesn't make you a brainiac. I know they teach the sisters in school they're smarter than black men are. We got a whole bunch of professional black women that are complete morons that have humped and creamed their way through and spread their legs. I've gone to enough colleges and I've seen it. A brother will get a C plus and they're A student. A girl get an A because she's giving the A away. And the A with 2 S's behind it. All right. Let's move off of that. I just had to get a little moral preachment in there.
No, that's good. Yeah.
Now you see why they didn't have me preaching in church. I preached at one church and the people were so angry. I went off on fake, bushy, sellout, successful, I made it coons. I went off on them, and one of those coons came up after church. My husband and I worked very hard to get to Mitchellville. And I said, I never said there's anything wrong with moving to Mitchellville. I said, there's something wrong with moving to Mitchellville and forgetting that there's some people that couldn't make it with you. That's the problem. And so, in fact, clearly, I need to preach more often here because it's pricks your conscience. If you're one of those little selfish type black people that think that because you're living okay and you got a 2-car garage and you can't afford the mortgage where you live, I'm glad I pissed you off. And then she went to the pastor, you're going to stop giving if you live over him. That's never been done right. So, we need to have a civil war against elitist coons. They make me sick. Now, back to Valerie Jarrett. Valerie Jarrett, subprime loans, right? Obama created a policy where they'd help white people who got the good loans, but blacks with subprime loans were not helped with the toxic asset. What's called TARP funding. And I forget what the R and the P is, but it's called TARP. Go look it up. And I say this all the time now because when you talk to black people who have a memory shorter than an elderly white man's penis, they want you to remember everything. And even if you can remember everything, your command of information and facts doesn't make them take what you're saying seriously. Which is why I said, you know what? Damn, why do I have to remember all this? Go look it up. When I was in school, I'm telling you, the teacher would just talk fast the way I'm doing. And if you had a question, you took notes, you went and looked it up. Why'd I have to explain and spoon feed everything? You know what? My auntie, when I was in Ohio, she, we're trying to go out walking, but she would walk so slow, I was afraid I was going to pull her or knock her down because she went so slow. And I thought, being insensitive, I'm a man, I'm younger, but she has a friend. And her friend, who's the same age as her, says she walks too slow. I walk with her. This is someone her age, who's 80. I mean, you're mad at me. I can't. I would almost fall asleep walking that slow. I get dizzy. If you ever see me walking, I walk fast. If I walk slow, it drives me crazy. I want to go fast, or at least a certain pace. One step. I can't do it. It took more energy trying to make certain that I didn't walk faster because I walked so slow. And by the way, the slower you walk, the less effective the walking is as an exercise. Do you see what I'm saying about this lady? Which means it's a self-defeating exercise. Spoon-feeding Negroes knowledge, making everything so dumb and simple won't make people think. That's the lie of the dumbing down system, is that everything has to be so completely simple. Sometimes you can't, can you imagine trying to teach a physics class or chemistry class and you don't explain the different element charts? You can't do it. There has to be a trajectory. Expand your mind. Stop expecting people to get stuff. Well, I don't like reading. I don't like what the hell? And you'll be one of those little dumbass people that's on the Titanic going down saying, oh, wow, I didn't know they had a wave pool. There's ice in it, too. Oh, I didn't pay for that. Right? To Jared. The toxic assets. Flint, Haiti, Libya, Mali, Somalia, Yemen, Detroit, where they wouldn't bail out the people, wouldn't help the city, and made the people's wages get cut. A single payer insurance. She was the advisor. She said no to it. Everything that he could have taken a stand on. Her advice is no. So all the failings of Obama, if you really want to like Obama, because I know some coons are determined to love him no matter what. Plus, he wasn't dark-skinned. White people liked him, so that's a winner for black folks. Not too dark. And he's half white, so he must be worth something, right? And white people like him. Well, then, okay, don't dislike Obama. At least give me this, that you will hate Valerie Jarrett. At least blame her. If I can't get nothing out of this, despise Valerie Jarrett. Hate her. Call her names. Talk about her. In fact, you remember the show McHale's Navy?
Yeah.
She looks like Wallace Binghamton with no glasses.
Wow.
Yeah, you could cut her hair and put that little Navy hat on her and put that at people. Oh, was that Jim Flynn? I said, well, he must have been at the beach.
I mean, if Roseanne said that, would she still be on the air today?
She would have gotten on and she said that. But what she talked about was she cracked on, people forget, she cracked on that Jewish thing and that Islam thing. People forget Saudis own 15% of America. Saudis. 15% of America is owned by Saudis. And let's do some more. The Saudis are the number one allies of Israel in the Middle East.
Really?
And people forget the Saudis are Jews pretending to be Muslims. I repeat, the House of Saud, the Saudi family, even Wahhab, the Wahhabists, these are Jews from either Iraq or a section of the Saudi peninsula called Najd, where the people are Jews. In fact, even Muhammad denounced the people from Najd as crooked and wicked people. The Sauds are Jews. Look at how they won't help the Palestinians. Look at how they're killing folks in Yemen. Look at how they're killing people in Syria and in Lebanon. Look at how they got all this money, they won't invest any of it in Muslim countries, but they own 15% of America. Go to Switzerland, it's full of stuff owned by Saudis. I've been there, I've seen it. Go to Paris, they own the big houses on the Riviera. And in London, they're not investing in the Middle East, not really outside of their own country. They are Jewish Arabs. I repeat, they are Jewish Arabs. They're not genuine Muslims. And they're the buddies. Who was up 3-4 in the morning with Prince Salman? Kushner. Okay. Who's giving money to Israel? The House of Saud is investing money in Israel, even giving the money to wage war.
Wow.
We don't follow that. So you said something about the Islamic Brotherhood, which serves the purposes of Israel. The Islamic Brotherhoods are fighting in Syria against Muslims on behalf of Israel and Saudi Arabia. Islamic Brotherhood is fighting in Yemen on behalf of Israel and Saudi Arabia and the other Wahhabist states. Qatar is a Wahhabist entity. Gaddafi was hated by the Wahhabists. Isn't Gaddafi dead, and isn't Libya in ruins, and who's there murdering and raping people, in particular killing and enslaving black people? The Islamic Brotherhood, funded by Saudi Arabia and Israel and other such people.
Now, the Islamic Brotherhood is the same as the Muslim Brotherhood, right? It's the same people.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
But they're funded by the Saudis. Okay. This is obvious. I mean, what's his name? Bin Laden.
Mm-hmm.
His importance wasn't so much that he was a fighter. His importance was he could get the Saudi money to go in. So these people blowing up and killing people are funded by the Saudis. They are one of the largest terrorist funding entities in the earth. I mean, not as big as the United States, but they work with the United States. They do the United States bidding. Let us remember there was a big meeting between Roosevelt and Ibn Saud in the 1940s. Saudi Arabia is a protectorate of the United States. Proof of that is when Saddam Hussein was threatening Saudi Arabia. Did the Saudis get the other Arab countries to help them? No. They got their protector America to send 500,000 Americans into Saudi Arabia. And my cousin, Lieutenant Colonel Pete Britton Jr., did the Arabic language and Islamic and Saudi culture training manual for the United States military. Okay, so I know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the whole Arabic, my cousin's an Arabic linguist for the U.S. military. Put all the training together to learn Arabic for the American forces going over there. My cousin designed that. So I know they went to Saudi Arabia because I know the person that designed the stuff to teach them how to get along and make out with people.